Worldcoin up over 60% here today. Insane move. And this is a trade I made over 90% spot on. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. Why is this token pumping? And where could support lie? We can see Bitcoin here up 1% consolidating. I'm going to come on to Bitcoin and the key levels in this chart heading into the next week. But first, we've got to kick off with the main news story of this Saturday, and that is 60% up here on Worldcoin. Remember, this is the AI project. If you don't know what this project is trying to do, watch my video here on what this breaks down. I'm not a big proponent of this coin. I'm actually not a long-term fan of this coin, but this is a trade I took, and I shared this with you guys saying, guys, I like this trade. I like this analysis as a setup. You can see here we were breaking about 19 days or so here. You can see November the 27th, I shared this as a thesis from a technical perspective, right? You can see here we broke and we reclaimed this key resistance. I was looking for a bounce before then heading up towards our TPs, right? 2.7 getting up towards 3.4 on my third and final TP, and you can see the price action has just exploded. It retested, it held around the support, which I told you guys was very strong support, and then you saw this explosive move now up to insane price points here on World Token. Now, this, of course, was not just a technical move. This is the best trades happen when technical analysis meets fundamental analysis or news. And that is exactly what you get, right? When I sat on this swing trade, you can see here that the news came in today. December the 15th, OpenAI CEO promotes crypto project Worldcoin after fundraising report. So we now know that Tools for Humanity, which is the company behind this Worldcoin concept, are looking to raise $50 million from investors. More importantly, Sam Altman doubled down on his belief, which is why one of the reasons why the markets are getting excited behind this project. In a world with a lot of AI, knowing who is human matters more and more, Altman said on Thursday. The belief was and is that as AI becomes an increasingly important part of our lives, the ability to identify unique humans was going to be more and more important. Now, again, I have covered up this project. Long term, it's kind of creepy, right? It's a creepy project, but maybe there is some reality in it. Now, of course, I traded this on a swing basis. I'm not married to this project. I've taken my profits and I'm out of this coin. A lot of people are holding this for the long term, right? Do you believe in this long term? I personally don't have conviction in it. But that being said, I don't think that it's not an interesting narrative. It is an interesting narrative because just look at something simple like Google Capture. When you interact with Google Capture, which is like pick the 3 images that is a fire hydrant, right? You have to do that thing. That's becoming more and more harder, right? Robots are figuring them out, and AI will figure out these puzzles as well. So if you keep playing this out over many, many years, maybe 10 years or so, and AI becomes smarter and smarter, how will humans identify itself versus AI? AI will learn to show emotions. AI will figure out these little puzzles. And so what Sam Altman is saying, and of course he's in the driving seat, right? He sees the development of AI running ChatGPT and OpenAI at the front line. He knows how difficult it's going to be for humans to prove that they're human, right? Proof of human. And that's the whole thing that Worldcoin is. Definitely go watch my video if you're curious about what this thing is and whether it's got legs in terms of the long run. But again, these types of trade, this is my bread and butter, right? Stacking the risk to reward in my favor, taking a healthy trade. I do it spot only, I do it long only. And this is how I make my money. People wonder, how do I make my money? This is my skill set. I trade the markets, right? I trade the markets. I wait for great technical analysis. I marry that up with technicals and making sure I understand the macro, which we cover a lot on this channel in terms of interest rates and where we're heading in terms of the economy. And then I make sure my risk management is set in place. I mean, just look at this trade. I made sure in the higher time frame, we reclaimed the strong support level, right? Turned resistance into support here. And once I was confident about that, it was just a matter of time before we started seeing a move. And then, of course, I was patient, right? I sat on this swing trade for about 18, 19 days before eventually we hit our TPs. But this is how you can then start to get 90% spot returns on a trade. I don't need to take leverage. I don't need to take margin. I can just rinse and repeat, right? So make sure you jump into our Telegram, ijazcrypto.com/TG. I'll show you how I do TA, right? I have nothing to hide. You got my TA course. I can show you in the Telegram with all coins as well. I show you how I set it up, how I spot a pattern, because we spotted Worldcoin, right? There's no coincidence that we picked that coin. There's no coincidence that we picked ARC-M. There's no coincidence that I traded so many of these altcoins so successfully. A lot of people online talk a lot, but we're actively trading in this community. So if you are an active trader, make sure you connect in our Telegram and watch how we do it as well. So jumping back into here, and we can see Bitcoin here spending about 1% up here on the day. But if you look at the 4-hourly candles, I'm looking at a bit of a consolidation again. Remember, we had this consolidation, we broke to the downside, and in breaking to the downside, we are now consolidating again. Very, very important period here, because remember, these patterns can break down to the downside, but sometimes they do so to liquidate, and then off it goes to the upside. So I'm waiting to see, are we able to reclaim 43,000? If we can reclaim 43,000, this is a good sign that we're heading back up to reclaim 44.5 and then 45,000 as well. Remember what I spoke about the other day? Higher lows. We got it, right? We got that nice bounce here from 41.6. If you guys have taken my TA course, ijazcrypto.com/TA, you will know this is the basics, right? Sometimes people like to make trading really, really complicated, and they want to pull out really fancy indicators and really fancy chart patterns. Sometimes the most basic thing helps you spot a trend. What is a trend, right? An uptrend, as I teach you in the course, is higher highs and higher lows. That's a higher high. That's a higher low. Now, what's a higher high? Well, to get a higher high, you have to break past this high here. That's where we got rejected last time, right? So you can see the horizontal line at 43.5 is where we got rejected. To keep this as an uptrend, we have to break out of this triangle, and we have to get above that line. Once we've done that, we've now got higher lows, right? The lows here, coupled with what would hopefully be a higher high as this goes and posts itself here, and you keep your nice uptrend working your way towards 45. Now, if we don't see that, if we see this getting rejected like this, then there's more of a risk that we can start breaking to the downside, losing 41, etc., etc. Now, let me show you the EMA ribbon just to show you where the key levels are. We now are confused on the 4-hourly time frame, right? Nobody owns this 4-hourly time frame. We've gone from a period where the bulls held it very strongly. We consolidated, broke down, and now nobody owns this trend. We're kind of consolidating sideways, nobody owns this trend. So what do we do in this period? Well, we go up a time frame, right? We go to the higher time frame here on the daily, and we go, okay, now who holds the trend? Right? And clearly here on the daily chart, the bulls hold the trend. So the bulls get the bias in this move. Doesn't mean that we can't break down. Of course, we can break down from any time frame. But I have to look, where are the statistical probabilities, right? And right now, the bulls hold the bias. That said, I'm not comfortable without a higher high, right? I'm not comfortable without us breaking into that 45,000 region. Really important now. Remember I said that a couple of days ago. I said, guys, this consolidation is fine. On this candle where we dropped nearly 6%, I said, guys, don't worry about it. As long as when we bounce, we get a higher high, right? So far, we're bouncing, but we're not getting that higher high. This shows signs that we can break down and get a deeper retest. Excuse all the lines, but if we break down from this triangle, we could be getting a deeper retest. What does a deeper retest mean? It'll come into the EMA ribbon. Look at the final call on the EMA ribbon. 38,000. This could technically break down all the way to 38,000. And I'm not too concerned. It's just a retest of the EMA ribbon. So any of the levels we see, if we break down from that triangle I shared with you guys, if we break down here into 40,000, if we break down into 39.5, even 39, 38.5, I'm nibbling. The closer and deeper we get into the bottom of this EMA ribbon, the more I'm going to nibble. Where I would worry, where I'd be a little bit more concerned about what's going on is if we lose our daily EMA ribbon. And that would be a candlestick close, a daily candle close below 37.8, below this final line of the EMA ribbon. Then the trend has changed. Now, here's what's interesting. If I zoom up to the weekly chart, you start to put into perspective what's going on here. So for those people panicking that we're sat at 42,300, well, this is what you're crying about. You're crying about the fact that we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row. We've not seen 9 since 2013. And so Bitcoin just wanted to cool off by 3% here this week. Instead of focusing on the fact that inflation is coming to the downside, Jerome Powell and the Fed were increasingly dovish. We're expecting a 2024 with Bitcoin spot ETF approvals. We're expecting, interest rates to start softening and getting some cuts next year as well. We're in a really strong position here. And if we get any pullback, in my opinion, down to any of these levels, like I just shared with you, 38, they're fine. I'm more than happy to nibble. And here's what's crazy. If on the weekly chart, this wanted to cool down, this has room to cool down all the way to here, 33.8, and it not be a concern whatsoever. That's crazy if you think about it. This can cool down all the way to that EMA ribbon, and there is no cause for concern. It could be a retest, and off it goes here back to the upside, right? And that would be perfectly healthy. That will flush out a lot of greed, a lot of leverage. Now, incidentally, why do you see that we're getting rejected here? What do you notice? There's a reason I shared this chart with you guys. Look at the chart I shared with you. Many months ago, in October of 2022, we started forming this cup and handle pattern. Now, a cup and handle pattern, if you took my TA course, is a reversal pattern. It's a very, very good reversal pattern, particularly on higher time frames, which is why I shared it with you guys. Now, what did we get? We did get a breakout from the handle, but we got rejected by the neckline, right? This yellow line here was the neckline, and we got rejected. But guess what? It went again. And that's where we got our break on the second time. It flushed out all the greed and then it broke. Now, what's the measured move of a head and shoulders pattern, of a inverse head, cup and handle pattern? You guys know, you take the measured move from here, right? And exactly this measured move, which I applied at the point of breakout, look, oh, look, what a coincidence. It sits just shy of 45,000, exactly where that red candlestick came in. Oh, not a coincidence, is it? No, it's not. It's TA. And TA works if you're willing to put in the work and pay attention. What's the other rationale I gave for why this was going to fill so quickly? You guys can go reference my videos. If I had the energy and I wanted the notoriety, I'd cut it up and show you guys, right? I said this, look, it's true. All this time when this was in the bear market, I said, guys, you do know once we break this neckline, we're going to fill very, very quickly. Look how quickly we collapsed. We're going to fill it up just as quick. And that's just what's happened. Right? I was barking down this very microphone saying that same thing. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that now we're struggling or in that 45 to 48 region. It's difficult here. But again, once we clear that level, again, this level fell so quickly. From 69 down to here, it was a fast journey to the downside. Boom. We jutted down and then we held some support and then jutted down, right? So equally, you can see here, where is that liquidity? The same thing on this side, we jutted back up. We struggle for a bit because that's where this resistance was. And then you expect a nice strong move here, getting you up to those 69,000 levels. So that's what I'm seeing here in the charts. Worldcoin delivering me a beautiful, beautiful trade. So I'm working on some nice, exciting trades, always actively trading this market. If you guys love trading, you're going to want to be in our Telegram group, ijazcrypto.com/TG. If you want more Bitcoin analysis, if you want more macro stuff, you can always get that here on this channel, as well as, of course, altcoin analysis as well. This channel is all about macros plus fundamentals plus technicals. There's no one answer here. We've got to learn all of it. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up likes. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.